So I should be looking at a camera, right? Here.
Your camera is there.
Oh, my camera is there. Okay.
That's your camera.
Okay.
Okay, and I have a next guest. What's your name and what brings you to JCON?
Sure. My name is Mary Grygleski. I'm here to do a talk about building a data pipeline. I call it ChatGPT, but essentially generative AI types of data pipeline, experimenting with it, and also specifically too with rising wave stream processor. And then essentially just see how data pass through and kind of construct, taking the output from that stream and then construct a prompt and send it to LLM and see what happens, kind of thing. But essentially, yeah, it's a Gen AI type of talk. So, yeah.
And the Gen AI is based on data, on text file. Where does it get its knowledge?
Sure. So for now, well, for LLM, I'm just going to use an LLM, let's say like OpenAI, one of the large language models, the GPT 4.0 or O1 or something. And so and where does it essentially gets trained, like whatever data it is trained on by the GPT 4.0. But I'm also thinking of, because it's kind of meant to be a bit more live coding, I can also do it like locally using Olama and just interacting. Let's say I currently do also have like Llama 3 that I connect with, but everything is kind of the smaller model, so I can run it locally. So so it's just basically based on those publicly available models that I download, locally as well. So yeah.
I think these things are really great. I was experimenting with a chat-based conversation about setting up a new project. I was looking for a way that I could translate these podcasts to another language or just have a transcript. It's amazing what you can do with local models nowadays.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, local models too. I think it is very true. Local models tend to be, unless you have very powerful and processor and also very big disk space to hold one of the larger models. Otherwise, if you do the smaller ones, they tend to be less accurate. But still, for the most part, I think it works pretty good if you are just not going to ask something too specific or too obscure kind of thing. But it is actually, I do have to say, if we use ChatGPT, this technology, correctly, it does help, right? A lot of things too. It can do things quite nicely, like sort through a lot of documents and extract information that you want, kind of like that. Yeah. But as such, as we also know too, these LLMs, this ChatGPT technology is not that reliable in sense because they are non-deterministic. The technology is more fuzzy logic. So it's just the nature of it too. So, but otherwise too, let's say you want to write an essay, sort of a one-shot deal, right? It actually can do its job quite well, like you said. Yeah.
The only thing I was struggling with that it doesn't recognize the name Foojay.
Oh.
It makes something very strange out of it, but I can probably train it to recognize it.
That is very true. Yeah, it is true. If you do anything specific and it doesn't know, then then it won't know. It's this kind of, people like to say like garbage in, garbage out. So it's more sort of like what you train it with, that's what it knows about. Yeah, like that. But it is true. There are good things about it, and also kind of be cautious too about things that it may not work too well. So yeah.
Should I do AI development with Java? Because everyone thinks Python is the way to go, but I think Java is just as good.
Actually, that's the thing, right? Us too, we are so involved with the Java ecosystem. To me, I think if we want to be serious about using Java or kind of doing this type of AI operations on a larger scale, on a more kind of complicated kind of scenario, I think Java will shine versus, let's say Python. I do have to say too, is interestingly, I was in Hong Kong like last week, actually visiting my sister, and then I happened to speak at the Hong Kong open source meetup group. And they also at the same time invited another speaker, happens to be also from the US, and he's quite well known. He wrote a book about polars, which is a data frame library in Python, quite popular now. But actually, he's also an expert, and he did tell me that basically, well, don't quote me, but we were chatting, and he did say, well, when it comes time, right, you want to do something quickly, not more demo thing. It does a great job, Python. But if you want to do something more serious, like doing a production levels, things that can scale, handles concurrency, Python is doesn't do a very good job, we all know. But this is also where Java can shine so well, the distributed systems, the industrial strength. I think, to me, right, I think there are already effort in the Java community, within even Java champion, within ourselves, we feel we have so many experts. We should really come out now and promote Java as the choice of language platform for doing serious type of AI operations. I think Java will shine too, just because it handles distributed computing concerns so well. Yeah, as we all know. So
And we already have very good Java libraries. I know LangChain4j have experimented with that. Do you use any library in your project, in your presentation?
sure, I actually have used Spring AI so far. Although people say, "Oh, Spring AI isn't quite the thing," which is true. It's still kind of new, but I think it has made a lot of progress within the past year or so since it came out to support Gen AI type of operations, and its model. It seems to be good, and now it also integrates too with the model context protocol, which is like for interacting with LLM standardized way. But MCP as such is more for lower level kind of thing, and it's perfect for Java if you want to write, a library, agent library, for example, it can do so well. So Spring AI is what I've worked with so far, but I also did a talk with Daniel from Red Hat, and he works with Quarkus. Quarkus itself also has come out quite strong to have integration really well with LangChain4j. So did Spring AI with LangChain4j as well. So I feel too, in time, these libraries will get caught up too. I mean, don't get me wrong, Python can do its job, all that stuff, but the language platform itself is not as ready for the real kind of industrial strength kind of thing. But I feel Java should be able to get caught up. Yeah.
You mentioned Spring AI is quite new, but isn't this whole thing quite new?
Yes, actually, you're right, dear Frank. Everything is new. Yeah, even we say, okay, it's new, but this Python isn't that much, older. But it is very true. Python did come out first to handle a lot of the data thing, right? And I think it's because Python does have an advantage of easier to do. You not worry about types, being more kind of not the static typing, more dynamic stuff. But it has this drawback. But it is true. It's more easily adapt or kind of taken up by less people. Well, people who are data centric, data scientists tends to be paying more attention to the subject matter, which is the data, less about programming. So I think it's just that it's the nature of it. Python is more easily anybody can pick up. But when it comes to serious stuff, I think Java is the one. It requires a deeper understanding. I mean, from the coding computing point of view. So, but you're right too. It's even Python isn't that new, that old. Yeah.
These libraries, yeah. But isn't that amazing that the whole Java community picked up something so drastically new, like this whole AI stuff, and created LangChain4j and OpenAI and Spring AI, sorry. Within a year, I think we went into from nothing to a very reliable productivity quality tool like LangChain4j.
I totally agree with you. I think it also reflects on the capability of the engineers in this ecosystem. I think it really shows that people understand truly deeper the computing needs and stuff. So they are able to actually get caught up quite well, and they can talk deeper into these concurrency matters, distributed computing, a bit more on, that's true, the lower level technical details, which is so essential in building any type of computing platform. So I think that's why I feel I'm fully confident with the level of intelligence, people that are from the Java community. I think we can definitely be able to come up with something quite strong, in no time. And exactly like Frank, you said, we started getting caught up, and it's been great. Not that long, but still, I think, we're able to put together these SDKs, and that can do some amazing thing. So, So,
a totally different question. I just had Miro Wegner here. Yeah. He had a lot of badges on his. Can you show your version? How do you reach this level of number of badges?
Well, interestingly, I do have to say I happen to also volunteer and help at JCON. I mean, being good friends with the JCON community, the Java community. I promised Richard, I said, I'm going to come help. And surely this year it's got 1,600 people register. Anyway, so because of me helping at the desk, and then we have all these ribbons, and then I was saying that, okay, maybe I'll have this and that, and people were saying that, yeah, just take everything, essentially. I think I have the benefits working at the front desk, that I get everything, even though I do have to say I work with most of it, right? And yeah, and even like Jakarta EE, I'm less with the Jakarta EE. I worked, started off more Java too, yeah, and then Java EE. So I have that, but essentially Jakarta EE. And then the rest, of course, I work with. And then Star Trek, I also like that. And Stargate is the only thing I haven't watched yet. And people were like, what? I haven't. Yeah. And then XDev, I don't work for them, but they're saying that because I'm helping the conference, I'm part of XDev now. So that's how I got all of it.
Thanks for your talk. Thanks for all your knowledge. And thanks for being one of the many volunteers here that make this this conference possible. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you so much for having me again. It's again so nice. Every year we see each other at JCON, and this is a really lovely, a very friendly conference, which I really love. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you.